Hello, welcome back. The last 5 days I've been in school. It is 5 days into school. It's a Friday evening, or I've suffered through 5 days of school. And one thing I realize now as a sophomore is that for some reason, there's a big obsession with freshmen. Like, I always hear or my classmates, sophomore classmates, or even just sophomore and older classmates making jokes about the freshmen, making jokes about who's going to be dating a freshman. Of course, everybody says no so they could look PR friendly, but I guarantee you, one of the people that says no is gonna be somebody. They're gonna see a bad or fine looking freshman. They're gonna be like, shit, I'm gonna date them. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it. And then after all this chitter chatter about dating a freshman and freshman girls and boys and fine looking or trying to find a good looking freshman person or a good looking freshman. I said freshman. I don't know. I realized maybe everybody in my grade, besides the people like me who really don't make that joke, maybe everybody in my grade wants to date a freshman. Because why do we talk about freshmen so much? Like, why do we have an obsession with trying to find a freshman to date? And then it also made me ask the question about what is the real dating ages, like restrictions for high schoolers. Now, I believe sophomore year is the best year when it comes to dating because you're like kind of in the middle. But matter of fact, realistically, I think junior is the best because sophomore, if you date a freshman, some of these freshmen in my school are 13 years old. So if I'm 15 years old, because I'm 15 right now, and some sophomores are turning 16 as we speak, or in a month, a lot of sophomores are gonna start turning 16. You're dating a 13-year-old. A 16-year-old dating a 13-year-old is terrible for like teenage ages. Now, adult ages, like if you're 23 dating a 19 or dating a 20-year-old, that's not that bad. But in teenage ages, a 3 year difference is very fucking bad. That is terrible. That is like a teenage a pedophile, you know? And then we have so junior year, in my opinion, is like the best middle point because you're 16, 17, and you're dating, and you can date a sophomore who's 15 to 16. So you're pretty much dating somebody that's right at your age range. And then you can also date a senior because you're 17. You could date a senior that's 17 or 18. But senior, in my opinion, is like kind of the worst because besides junior, for seniors, you should not be touching sophomore or freshman. Like you are literally turning 18. You're nearly a grown ass man at 18. Well, not you're still technically a teen, but you're legal enough to vote and get drafted into the army if a war ever pops off. Okay, like, and you're telling me you're gonna date a freshman? You're gonna date a possible 13-year-old or 14-year-old, or even a sophomore, a 15-year-old? So I think the dating restrictions in high school are very valid because it like just looking at it, like if you see a senior dating a freshman, that looks crazy. So dating restrictions should be needed. But a lot of times dudes will still go against the dating restrictions because it's not really a universal rule. Nobody really enforce it. People just peer pressure you into thinking you shouldn't date a freshman or you shouldn't date this age of a person. They never really enforce it. Nobody ever calls the police on you if you're a senior dating a 15-year-old or 18-year-old dating a 15-year-old. Nobody ever does that. They just like they question you and then they move on with their life. I guess that's why we have a lot of them now these days because people never really do anything about it. That's just something I realized.